Have you ever looked into the eyes of a child, perhaps a newborn only hours old, or a toddler pausing in the middle of play, and felt a sudden, inexplicable chill? Not a chill of fear, but a cold, sharp spike of recognition. In those moments, the air seems to thicken, the room grows quiet. For a fleeting second, you aren't looking at a baby. You are looking at an ancient traveler peering out through a fresh pair of windows. You are looking at a soul that has not yet learned how to wear the mask of a human being. We call them children. We treat them as blank slates, empty vessels waiting to be filled with our language, our names, our rules, and our limitations. But what if we have it backward? What if they are the ones filled with the most profound data in the universe, and we are the ones who, through the process of growing up, are slowly leaking that data until we are empty? Most people will never see this. They will walk past the playground and see only games. They will sit at the dinner table and hear only imaginary friends or silly stories. But you might be one of the few who senses the cracks in the floorboards of reality. What if the stories they tell are not make-believe? What if they are the first desperate transmissions from the other side of the veil? There are children among us who remember the smell of the smoke from fires that burned 200 years ago. There are children who can describe with surgical precision the cockpit of a P-40 Warhawk or the intricate ritual of an Egyptian burial. They speak of other mothers and houses by the sea that do not exist on our current maps. We dismiss it. We call it a vivid imagination. We tell them to eat their cereal and get ready for school. And in doing so, we perform a slow, accidental lobotomy on the spirit. We teach them to forget. But the archives are stirring. The stories are becoming too frequent, too detailed, and too consistent to be ignored. From the hypnotic regressions of Dolores Cannon, a pattern is emerging. It is a pattern of resonance. You felt it before, that quiet knowing that this isn't your first life. You felt it when you entered a room you've never been in and knew exactly what was around the corner. You felt it when you met a stranger and felt a bond that spanned centuries. That feeling isn't a glitch. It isn't a fantasy. It is the residue of your true self. For the children, that residue is still wet. It hasn't dried into the hard crust of adulthood yet. They are standing at the edge of the fountain of forgetfulness, and some of them refuse to drink. Your soul is trying to tell you something right now. It is using the voices of the innocent to remind you of your own immortality. It is whispering through the nursery walls, remember who you are, remember why you came, remember that the end was only a beginning. Are you listening, or are you waiting for them to grow out of the only truth that actually matters? Most people will never see this, but you might be one of them. Welcome to Awakening Archives. I am your guide through the quiet corridors of the soul's history. Here, we do not deal in the fleeting distractions of the material world. We do not look at the news of the day. We look at the news of the eons. We are here to uncover cosmic truths, forgotten wisdom, and the hidden knowledge that has been tucked away in the folds of time, waiting for a generation ready to hear it. Our library is built on the works of those who dared to look behind the curtain, specifically the quantum insights of Dolores Cannon. We speak in the voice of recollection. We do not inform you, for how can one inform a soul that already contains the universe? We simply help you remember. We are the mirror reflecting your higher self back to you. if you feel the pull of the unseen, if you know in your marrow that your story did not begin in this century, then you have found your way home. Here, the veil is thin and the truth is safe. If you are ready to awaken from the dream of forgetting, hit subscribe and the bell to never miss a cosmic truth. By the end of this journey today, you will look at the children in your life and the child you once were with entirely different eyes. We are going to go beyond the surface-level ghost stories and decode the specific metaphysical markers of spontaneous recall. We will explore the window of 7, the critical age where the physical brain takes over and the soul's memory is suppressed, and how you can keep that window cracked open. You will discover the 3 waves of volunteers and why a specific group of souls is arriving on Earth right now with their memories intentionally unzipped. This isn't just about the past, it's about the future of humanity. Stay with me to uncover the rare signs that a soul has bypassed the laws of forgetting. This knowledge could change everything you thought you knew about your own purpose. To understand why children remember, we must first understand why we forget. In the vast records of the soul, we are introduced to the concept of the veil of forgetting. It is described not as a punishment, but as a necessary condition for the physical experience. If we remembered the perfection of the source, if we remembered the infinite love and safety of our true home, we would never take the risks necessary for growth. The veil is the theater curtain. It allows the drama of Earth to feel real. It allows us to make choices, to love, to lose, to fear, and to overcome, without the safety net of knowing it's all a game. However, as Dolores Cannon discovered through thousands of QHHHT sessions, the veil is not a solid wall, it is a frequency, and that frequency is changing. Have you noticed that these past life memories almost always fade by the age of 7? From a biological perspective, this is when the brain's neuroplasticity begins to settle. From a metaphysical perspective, this is the point of total immersion. It is the moment the soul is fully locked into the physical vehicle. Dolores Cannon's work suggests that before the age of 7, the child's silver cord, the energetic tether to the spirit world, is still vibrating at a very high frequency. The child is essentially living in 2 worlds at once. They are in the theta brainwave state almost constantly. This is the state of deep hypnosis, the state of dreaming, the state of the subconscious. When a child says, "When I was big, I had a different mommy," they are reaching into the subconscious, that part of us that holds the record of every breath we have ever taken across 1,000,000 years. In her book, The 3 Waves of Volunteers and the New Earth, Dolores identified a phenomenon that explains the children of the modern age. She found that because Earth is undergoing a massive vibrational shift, higher dimensional souls have volunteered to incarnate here to act as frequency anchors. These third-wave souls are arriving with their DNA already pre-activated. They are the indigo and crystal children. They are the ones who refuse to forget. They are the ones who look at their parents and explain the mechanics of the universe before they can even tie their shoes. They are here to show us that the veil is tattered. Let us look at the archives of researchers who traveled the globe looking for data, not myths. They found children with birthmarks that perfectly matched the fatal wounds of the people they claim to have been. This is biological resonance. The soul is so powerful that its memory of a past trauma can actually rewrite the genetic expression of the new body. We see this in the story of a boy who, at 2 years old, began screaming about a plane crash. He knew the name of the ship, the name of his co-pilot, and the specific engine failure. When the records were researched, every single detail matched a pilot who died decades before the boy was born. How do you know if the child in your life is an ancient traveler? The displaced longing, crying for home while at home, unlearned skills, playing a piano sonata at age 3, the night terrors of the transition, processing the exit point of the previous life, the old man gaze, an assessment by someone much older than their years. Part 6. The geography of the in-between. To understand the child who remembers, we must look at the map of where they were just moments before arrival. In the deep state regressions, we find a detailed geography of the life between lives. The soul does not simply wait in a void. It is active. It is studying. It is preparing for the density of the flesh with the precision of an astronaut preparing for a vacuum. When a child speaks of the place with the many books or the council of wise elders, they are describing the primary learning centers of the spirit world. These are the realms of total order and profound light, where souls congregate in clusters. These clusters are our soul groups, the beings we have lived with for eons. The child who remembers often feels a profound lingering grief because they have just left their true family. Imagine being plucked from a sea of unconditional love and placed into the dense, heavy, and often chaotic vibration of a human infant. The displaced longing we see in toddlers is often a literal homesickness for their soul cluster. They are looking at their biological parents and thinking, "You are kind, but you are not the ones I sat with in the Garden of Light." This is why children often talk to imaginary friends. Dolores Cannon's research suggests these aren't friends at all. They are the soul's guides or members of their soul cluster who have remained on the other side to assist with the transition. The child sees them because their third eye is still wide open, unclouded by the calcification of the material world. How does an infinite consciousness fit into a 10-pound body? The process is one of vibrational stepping down. The soul must narrow its focus, a process often called the loss of the infinite perspective. It is like trying to fit the entire ocean into a single bottle. To do this, the soul creates a personality shell. But in children who remember, the shell is translucent. We must look at the silver cord, the energetic umbilical cord that connects the soul to the physical body. In the early years of life, this cord is not yet fully anchored. It is loose. This allows the child to astral travel with ease during sleep. Many of the dreams children report are not dreams, but actual visits back to the higher densities. When they wake up and say, "I was flying with the blue people," or "I went to the school in the clouds," they are giving us a journalistic report of their nighttime travels. As the child grows, the cord tightens. The ego, the mask of the I am, begins to take over. The ego's job is survival in the 3D world. It says, "I must learn to walk. I must learn to eat. I must learn to please my parents." To do these things efficiently, the ego shuts down the extra data. It archives the memories of the stars and the past lives in the deepest basement of the subconscious, where they will remain until a crisis or a spiritual awakening brings them back to the surface. Perhaps the most startling evidence in our archives is the physical staining of the new body by the old soul. We see cases documented of children born with malformations that perfectly match the wounds of the people they claim to be. How is this possible? It is quantum imprinting. The soul is the blueprint. The body is the house. If the blueprint has a scar or a dent from a previous construction, that dent will often manifest in the new house. This is what we call somatic memory. It proves that the soul is not just a passenger, it is the architect of the flesh. When a child has an unexplained phobia, a child who screams at the sight of a certain bridge, they are reacting to a cellular trigger. Their body remembers the trauma, even if their conscious mind has started to forget. We must also address the concept of simultaneous time. We do not have past lives in a straight line. Instead, all our lives are happening at the same moment in a great now. Imagine a hand with 5 fingers. Each finger is a life. The fingers think they are separate, but they all meet at the palm, the oversoul. The children who remember are simply bleeding through from one finger to another. They are picking up the signal of another life that is currently in progress in a different century. This is why their memories are so vivid. They aren't old memories, they are live feeds. When we understand this, we realize that children aren't special because they remember, they are simply unfiltered. They are living in the multidimensional self. Why are there so many more of these cases now than in the 1950s? Dolores Cannon gave us the answer. The earth is shifting its resonance. We are moving out of the age of Pisces, the age of secrecy and belief, and into the age of Aquarius, the age of knowledge and transparency. As the planet's vibration rises, the density of the veil decreases. The children being born since the late 1990s are coming from higher densities where the veil does not exist. They have no practice in forgetting. They arrive on Earth like visitors from a country where everyone speaks the truth, only to find themselves in a world where everyone has amnesia. Their behavioral issues are often not disorders at all. They are the result of a high-definition soul trying to operate through a low-definition 3D nervous system. If you are the parent or guardian of a child who remembers, you are not just a parent, you are an archivist. The parents chosen by these advanced souls are often people who have karmic credits with that soul. You have been together before. Your job is not to fix their memories or to correct their stories. Your job is to witness. By saying, "I believe you," you prevent the soul from feeling the trauma of isolation. You help them maintain their connection to the source, ensuring that they can fulfill the mission they came here to complete. They are the vanguard of the new earth. They are the ones who will teach us that death is a door, and that the archives of time are written in the eyes of every child who looks at the stars and says, "I remember." In our modern society, we have created a sterile environment for the soul. We prioritize logic, data, and material success. In ancient cultures, a child who remembered was seen as a treasure. They were the returners. They were consulted for wisdom because they were still flesh from the source. Today, we have replaced the shaman with the psychologist. When a child speaks of the before, we look for a clinical diagnosis. This rejection creates a secondary trauma. The child realizes that the truth is unsafe, and so they begin the painful process of self-censorship. They bury their divinity to survive their environment. But the archives cannot be burned. They are stored in the DNA. Even when a child stops talking, the memory is merely moved from the tongue to the marrow. For those of us watching who are no longer children, the archive offers a profound opportunity for healing. We all were that child once. We all had those fragments of light before the world told us they were shadows. By validating the memories of today's children, we are performing a retroactive rescue on our own inner child. We are telling that small, confused version of ourselves, "You weren't crazy. You really did remember that home." This recognition is the key to unlocking your own soul contract. When you stop denying the childhood make-believe, the process of incarnation is a brave act. To leave the perfection of the one and enter the fragmentation of the many is the ultimate sacrifice. The children who remember are the witnesses to this sacrifice. As we look at the cases of the new souls arriving now, souls who have never been to Earth before, we see a different kind of memory. They remember the geometry of light. They remember the music of the spheres. They are not here to resolve karma. They are here to change the very physics of the planet. Their memories are the blueprints for the future. And soon you'll discover the rare sign that most souls completely miss, the one that proves we are not just visiting this planet, but transforming it from the inside out. We often think of memory as something stored in the gray matter of the brain, but the archives suggest a more profound reality. The DNA is a multi-dimensional antenna. When a child remembers a past life, they are tuning in to a frequency stored in the crystalline structure of their very cells. This is Akashic biology. Every experience we have ever had is etched into the light fields surrounding our DNA. This explains why children often have body memories, involuntary physical reactions to triggers they haven't yet encountered in this life. Consider the child who knows how to tie a complex knot despite never being near a boat. The soul carries the muscle memory across the threshold of death. As the child's physical body grows, it is being molded by the energetic template of the soul. We see that talent is simply the residue of past life mastery, manifesting as biological ease. Before a soul enters the womb, it exists in a state of pure consciousness. In this archive, we see that no soul is sent to Earth against its will. It is a choice. A child who remembers often recalls the waiting room. These are the council chambers. Before the descent, the soul reviews its previous lives like a film. It looks for the gaps in its evolution. It asks, where did I fail to love? Where did I succumb to fear? One child told his mother, I chose you because you had a kind heart. This reveals the soul contract in its purest form. These waiting rooms are places of immense peace where guides help the soul program its upcoming life. The memories that bleed through are often the sticky parts of this programming, the fragments of the plan that the soul didn't want to forget. If memory is so vital, why does the universe insist on the veil of forgetting for the majority of humanity? It is a mercy. If we remembered the full extent of our past life failures, the weight of the guilt would be paralyzing. The veil creates the tension of the unknown. It is only when we don't know for sure that we are eternal that our choices truly matter. To love someone when you think life is short is a much more powerful act of will. The children who remember are exceptions to the rule because we are currently in a quantum transition. The Earth is graduating from the density of total forgetting into a state of partial remembrance. These children are beta testers for a consciousness that can handle the truth of its own immortality without losing focus on the present moment. We must examine how language acts as a secondary veil. In the higher realms, communication is telepathic. It is a transfer of light thought. In the 3D world, we must squeeze our vast feelings into tiny, rigid words. As a child learns language, they are forced to label their experiences according to the limits of that language. If a child remembers a past life city that had no name in their current tongue, they eventually stop trying to describe it. To preserve the memory, many third-wave children are now being born with a sensitivity to sound and frequency. They are vibrational listeners. They can hear the song of a room. When they talk about their past lives, they are trying to match a vibration they remember. The goal of the Awakening Archives is not just to study the children, but to become like them. The kingdom of heaven belongs to those who can return to the state of the child, the state of belief, fluidity, and remembrance. When we validate a child's memory, we are performing a sacred act of soul retrieval. We are saying to the universe, the era of forgetting is over. Why do some remember while others are plunged into darkness? The thickness of the veil is determined by the soul's intent. Some souls choose a deep dive. They want the full challenge of earth, the hunger, the pain, because that is where the most growth happens. They choose to forget everything. But the volunteers described by Dolores Cannon have a different mission. They are not here for personal karma, they are here for planetary service. Because they don't have the heavy lead of earthly karma weighing them down, their transition into the body is more like a thin mist. Consequently, the erasure doesn't take. This is why these children often feel alien. They remember the ease of telepathy. They are frustrated by the slowness of human speech. We must also consider the entry point. The way we are born influences how much we remember. A gentle, conscious birth allows the soul to seat itself slowly. A traumatic birth can shock the soul into a deeper state of amnesia as a defense mechanism. The children of the new earth are increasingly being born into water births, environments that mimic the fluid, high-vibration state of the spirit world. Sometimes what we call past life memory is actually ancestral memory. The blood is a river of consciousness. A child may not be remembering their life, but the life of a direct ancestor whose unfinished business is still vibrating in the DNA. However, in the quantum realm, there is no me and them. The child is the tip of a spear. When they heal the memory, they are healing the entire lineage. As the child reaches the age of 7, the ego begins to solidify. The ego is the survival mechanism. To survive in school, to fit in with peers, the child must shut down the archives. They learn that talking about the life before gets them laughed at. So they bury the scrolls. But the maps do not disappear. They become the subconscious. If we want to help the children, we must stop telling them that the veil is the only reality. We have reached the center of the archive. Here lies the truth that changes everything. Your soul doesn't just choose this life. It chooses the exact time, family, and lessons needed for your awakening. But there is a deeper revelation. The past life is a linear illusion. In the higher dimensions, time does not exist. Everything is happening now. When a child remembers a past life, they aren't looking back through a long tunnel. They are looking sideways. They are tuning in to a different frequency of their own existence that is happening simultaneously. Think of it like a television. You are watching channel 2024, but channel 1940 is still broadcasting. Children, their tuner is still loose. They can see the overlap. The climax of this journey is the realization that you are not a person having a life. You are a vast, multi-dimensional consciousness having multiple costumed experiences at once. The children who remember are not glitches. They are the correction. They are here to remind us that the physical body is nothing more than a biological suit. They are here to show us that death is a change of clothes. The revelation isn't just that children remember. The revelation is that the forgetting is ending. We are moving into an era where we will all remember. We will walk down the street and see not strangers, but former brothers and sisters. We will see the threads of the soul that connect us all. Take a moment. Breathe into the space behind your heart. Have you ever felt like your soul remembers more than you do? Or perhaps a child in your life said something that felt like a message from the great beyond. Tell us your story in the comments. We read every word, for every story is a piece of the larger tapestry we are weaving together. Subscribe for weekly awakenings and hit the bell to never miss a cosmic truth. If this resonance felt like a homecoming, join our circle. Share this with a seeker who is questioning their own place in the stars. As we close this chapter of the archive, remember, the veil is only as thick as you believe it to be. The children are showing us the way back to the truth. They are the bridge between what was and what is yet to be. Stay aware, stay awakened, and remember, the universe is always speaking, often in the smallest of voices. Keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep your soul aligned with the truth. I will meet you in the archives again soon.